Hi everyone, my name is Renee Long, a communications specialist and webinar coordinator here at American College of Healthcare Sciences. And joining me today for all our technical needs is Dominic Aiello, a social media specialist and webinar coordinator here at ACHS. And today we'll be hosting a webinar from our Admissions Lunch and Learn series. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, Can I Afford to Go Back to School? Presented by our very own ACHS Dean of Admissions, Amy Swinehart, and Director of Student Financial Services, Katie Stone, who you see right there on your screens. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. You may have noticed that your line is muted, and we're recording today's webinar, so this helps ensure we can clearly hear our presenters. You'll also notice that you have a control panel at the right-hand side of your screen. If you have a question for our presenters during the webinar, you can go ahead and type it into the questions box, and at the end of the webinar we're going to have a brief 10-minute Q&A session where I will read the questions and our presenters will answer them. But if you have further questions that you think might require a bit more conversation or an in-depth answer, you can feel free to follow up with Amy and Katie directly at admissions@achs.edu, or you can go ahead and schedule a time to talk with them on our website as well. They're happy to respond to all of your questions. So now I'll go ahead and turn the webinar over to Amy and Katie. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Renee. And welcome, everyone, to today's webinar. We're excited to talk to you about all the different ways and funding opportunities that we have here at ACHS. First, I would like to introduce myself, Dean of Admissions, and let you know that the admissions department here is here to, fully support you throughout the process, application process, and, your future educational goals. We personally will take care of you step by step and guide you through the application process. So don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you might have in regards to that and to getting started. As you'll see, this is the Financial Services Department, and Katie will be joining us later to talk about the financial aid aspect of the funding opportunities we have here. I wanted to talk just a little bit about the American College, and we have been in the industry for quite some time, founded in New Zealand in 1978. We are accredited by the Distance Education Accrediting Commission, and really feel that the education we offer is up to the highest standards out there. We are an industry leader and offer up-to-date programs in all modalities, whether it be certificate or diploma programs to associate degrees, and then of course our graduate certificate and graduate programs that we do offer. Why study with ACHS? Well, there are so many reasons. First off, the flexibility of our online programs really make it possible for anyone to take part in their studies at times that work best for them. Again, we are a nationally accredited institution, which is really important when you're taking your, education and furthering it into, a career in today's, society in this industry. We have been ranked as with our affordability in several of our programs, as you can see, by Online U. It's really important to us that our students really find the best path in affording their education as to not get into, a lot of debt. We don't want to see that. We want to really assist our students as best we can. We have, interactive discussions within our classrooms, great support with faculty, and of course our academic services offices, really wanting to support you throughout your whole education process here at ACHS. We offer quite a few funding options. We offer semester payment in full. We have a monthly payment plan. We do ask if whoever you work for, they might offer employer tuition assistance. We have veterans benefits that we'll definitely cover later as well. And of course we do offer financial aid to those who qualify and have been accepted into those eligible programs. I wanted to talk a little bit about semester payments. This is basically where you pay as you go for whatever the semester amount is going to be. We don't ask that you pay anything more than that at that time. It's just it's a great opportunity to just take care of your payments and, again, not accrue any debt along the way. If that's not something for you, then we do have a monthly payment plan where, again, we just take that semester amount and divide that up into 4 monthly payments for our 16-week semesters, and for accelerated courses, it is divided up into 3 monthly payments. And again, there are no fees that come along with that. We just take that semester amount and divide that accordingly. Veterans and military benefits. We are really proud to be a military-friendly school and have been for the last 7 years. We offer benefits for post-9/11 GI Bill, Montgomery GI Bill, tuition assistance, My CAA, which is a funding available to military spouses, and you know, most other aspects of the military benefits, as you can see listed here. So we're happy to discuss that with you further if you have any questions. But it's always a great idea to look into any aspect that might be available to offer benefits to you in that respect. Scholarships as well. You know, we always encourage you to take a look out there and to see what scholarships might be you know, applicable to you. We have an adult skills scholarship that we offer up to $1,000 of tuition, and that is awarded throughout the year up to 10 recipients. We do have a military scholarship available to military members, and you know, again, there's just some other options that we mentioned there of ways of getting out there and just seeing what would be applicable to you as far as scholarship opportunities. There's also, as we mentioned, the blog and webinar on how to find scholarships, so you know, I would definitely encourage you to take a look at that and see if there's anything that would be of assistance to you there. And Katie, I'll let you go ahead and take it from here.
All right. Yeah, so I'm Katie Stone. I'm the Director of Student Financial Services. So I oversee both our financial aid department and our business office. I'm going to talk a little bit about the financial aid options, federal financial aid options available to our students. First of all, federal financial aid includes both grants and loans. Grants being free money you don't have to pay back, and loans being funds that, of course, you do have to pay back. Those are available for those who qualify, and the first step in applying for financial aid is to complete the FAFSA, which stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. It is important to note that not all of our programs are eligible for financial aid, and on this slide here we have listed the 4 programs that are eligible. Those are our Diploma in Aromatherapy, Diploma in Holistic Health Practice, our Associate's degree in Complementary Alternative Medicine, and our Masters of Science in Complementary Alternative Medicine. So let's look a little more closely at the types of federal grants available. The first one is the federal Pell Grant. Student eligibility and the amount of that grant are based on student need, and that's determined by the FAFSA that we talked about on the previous slide. Students can receive up to $5,775 per award year in a Pell Grant fund, and that amount actually is going to go up to $5,815 as of July 1st for the 2016-2017 award year. And the award years run from July 1st through June 30th of each year. The other type of grant, federal grant that we offer, is the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant. It's a mouthful. That's a grant that is based on Pell Grant eligibility and available funds. And really, those grants are the first thing that we look at when exploring financial aid options for our students. We see if those grants, in conjunction with other funding such as a payment plan, military funding, employer assistance, are enough to cover the semester costs. But if not, the next thing we look at is student loans, which is on the next slide. We always try and look at student loans last because these are funds that do have to be repaid, and we always want to help our students minimize their borrowing as much as possible. Listed are the kinds of federal student loans that we offer. There's direct subsidized loans, direct unsubsidized loans, and then the Parent Plus and Graduate Plus loans. And as you work through the financial aid process, our advisors will counsel you on the best use of each of these funding options based on your eligibility. So because loans are funds that do have to be repaid, again, we really try to counsel our students to minimize their borrowing as much as possible, because we want to help set you up for success, not only while you're in school, but also for financial success once you're done with school. So this slide shows a nice kind of illustration of two students who are enrolled in the same program, who have the same Pell Grant and loan eligibility. But on the left here is Sarah, who chooses to only borrow exactly what she needs to cover her semester costs after her Pell Grant funds have been applied to her account. And as you can see, about halfway through the slide, her final estimated loan debt when she's done with her program is $11,680. On the right is John, who has opted to borrow the maximum amount of loans he can qualify for each semester and have the excess funds after his tuition is covered go back to him. And you can see that his estimated loan debt when he's done with his program is $50,500. And down at the very bottom of this slide, you can see the difference that makes in their estimated monthly loan payments when they're done with school. Sarah's got an estimated monthly payment of about $120 a month, whereas John's estimated payment is about $519 a month. So one of the things that we do as you work through this financial aid process with us is we'll talk to you about various ways you can minimize your borrowing, whether it's borrowing only exactly what you need after your Pell Grant or other funding has been applied to your account, or sometimes we have students who make small monthly payments to the school to reduce their borrowing. Maybe it's buying your own books. So those are various strategies that we'll talk to you about to help you minimize that loan debt. We'll also walk you through things like a repayment calculator and budgeting tools so that you can make the best decisions about financing your education.
Great. Thank you, Katie. So we want to just talk a little bit about, again, a smart way to invest in your education. And one thing that the admissions department talks a lot about is an educational pathway. So everybody's excited to jump into this education. It's something that, you're passionate about. You want to just get started and gain this knowledge to take it to that next level and to really meet your goals. But one thing that we always like to encourage our students to take a look at is maybe starting with a certificate program or a diploma program and really building on that education. When you look at it that way, you can, first, it's a smaller financial commitment to start with, and you can complete the program sooner while gaining those credentials sooner, which really allows you to start marketing yourself sooner and getting out there with what you're looking to do career-wise. And then, while you're doing that, you can jump into that next program and, again, start that pathway of building on your education. So it's really something to consider when you are looking at the programs we offer. You'll see that a lot of those credits are going to be transferable, so there won't be any repeating of any classes. Again, it's just a way to complete a program sooner, gain those credentials, and get started right away with what you're looking to pursue. I wanted to talk a little bit about the cost of the programs and how they work. For the undergraduate programs, our tuition is $325 per credit hour. There is an estimated materials cost of $300 for each 3-credit class. So the average cost of an undergraduate 3-credit class is about $1,275. You'll see that our graduate program tuition is $425 per credit hour, and the estimated cost for materials is at $330 per course. So again, the average cost for a 3-credit graduate level is about $1,605. Now again, keep in mind those are estimated costs. You will find fluctuation within the materials cost. And so online, if you are looking at a program, I definitely encourage you to click into each individual course where we actually do outline the cost of that individual course on its own and everything that's included with that. Also do keep in mind there is a registration fee when registering. For a full program, that is $200 per program. If you are enrolling in a single course, it is $30 per credit, so $90 per single course. The projected maximum costs of these programs, as you'll see outlined with our certificate programs, is between about $5,500 to $7,000. Diploma programs range between about $12,000 to $17,000. Our undergraduate associate degrees, $25,000 to $27,000. And then our graduate certificates, $7,000 to $9,000. And then our master's degree programs, $21,000 to $24,000. You know, there's lots of ways to look at lowering the cost of your education while going to school at ACHS. You know, as Katie mentioned, in financial aid, they'll talk about a lot of different ways, but one is that you are, you know, able to make even small payments towards, you know, your program, even though it's not the full amount. It's something little that will, again, keep that debt, you know, loan debt down for you. You know, one other opportunity that we offer is that, you know, you can take a look at getting your textbooks elsewhere. You know, we encourage students to look online, and if you're able to find them, you know, you are not required to purchase them through us. You know, we do ask that you do get the, you know, edition, the right edition of the textbook, but by all means, you're able to take a look out there and see what is available to keep your costs down. Challenge exams, if you feel that you have the knowledge of one of the courses that you might be taking, there is the option of challenging the course by exam. That is a $75 fee, but you know, if you can pass it that way, you're definitely saving a lot of money in that respect. Transfer of credit is something else that we can look at. Again, researching those scholarship opportunities. So there's lots of things to look at, and again, in admissions, we're happy to discuss all those options with you. I want to, you know, really encourage you guys to reach out to alumni and, you know, people who are in the industry, ambassadors for the college. They would love to hear from you and would be happy to share their story with you, their experiences here at the college, what they're doing now, you know, with their careers. So you can find all this information on our alumni page. Right here, we've highlighted some of our ambassadors. We also have a practitioner directory, alumni practitioner directory that I encourage you to look at. Because again, we want, you know, I want you to hear it from them, their success stories. And, you know, I think that you'll really find some insight from them and some important information from them as well. Renee?
Hi everybody. Yeah, it does look like we have some questions in the chat box, and if you're listening and you have questions, you can go ahead and type them into the chat box as well, and we'll hopefully get to them in our little Q&A session. But our first question is, does my CAA apply to retired spouses or just active duty?
You know, that is a great question. That has never come up. As far as I know, the people that I've worked with, the spouses that I've worked with, their, you know, partners have been active duty. So that is a really great question. I'm sorry I don't know the answer to that. But if you would like to email me directly, you know, I'd be happy to get that information for you.
Thanks, Amy. And Jessica did ask if the slideshow will be available for download after the webinar, and the answer is yes. The slides will be available, and this video will be available, so you can watch it again in case you missed anything. Is wondering, does one have to apply first before knowing if they qualify for any programs?
For any of the programs, yes, we do have an application process. The first step in that process is to complete the online intake assessment, and you can find that information in the Get Started section of our website, which is under the admissions page. But that would really be the first step, and it's just something that then, you know, an advisor will reach out to you and really talk about your interests and goals and the other aspects of the application process in regards to being accepted into the program.
Great, thank you. Our next question is from Melissa, and she would like to know, why are only a few programs available for federal financial aid? This might be a question for Katie.
Yeah,
either one.
We take a look at a lot of different factors, and the Department of Education does too, when determining which programs will be eligible for financial aid. Those are the only programs that at this point we've submitted to be eligible, but we're always exploring options and trying to look at which programs would be the best fit for our students as far as utilizing financial aid and helping them meet their educational goals and their career goals. So it's an ongoing evaluation process, and as we add more programs for financial aid eligibility, we'll always notify students as soon as possible so that you can take advantage of those opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. Our next question comes from Jessica, and she would like to know, during the application process that you just discussed, could an advisor determine if classes taken at another school could transfer?
Absolutely. We have a transfer of credit policy. That is something that we will look at, as far as, one of the requirements is for you to submit official transcripts. So we can discuss transfer of credit. In order to get an evaluation, there are forms to submit so that the registrar's office can, do that evaluation and, basically guarantee that they are transferable. But yes, that is a process that we can go through. Absolutely.
Thanks, Amy. Our next question is from Antonina, and she would like to know, hi, how does WIA work?
That is something that is really, it depends on what state you're in. There's definitely application processes that you go through with that. That would be really a deeper conversation for us to have, on that process, because it really is dependable on which state you're in. But again, if you'd like to email me directly, I'd be happy to connect with you on that and discuss things further.
Thanks, Amy. Okay, now we have a follow-up to the current to a previous question. I'm not sure. Actually, Melissa, if you could type in your previous question again, because I'm not sure which question you're referring to. So go ahead and type that in one more time for us, and I'll just go to the next one real quick. And this could be for Katie. Is there financial aid for someone who received Social Security disability, and what are the qualifications?
So there's not a specific program that I'm aware of for students in that situation, but a student receiving those types of benefits could complete the FAFSA and explore their options for federal financial aid, including those options I talked about during the webinar. So I definitely encourage you to do that if you're interested in one of our 4 financial aid eligible programs. And by completing the FAFSA, we'll be able to take a look at your specific eligibility. But receiving that benefit doesn't disqualify you from any specific federal financial aid options. And on the flip side, I'm not aware of any specific programs to students receiving that benefit.
Great, thanks, Katie. Okay, so Melissa did follow up with us again. So she would like to know, for transfer of credits, even if classes are taken possibly over 20 years ago?
We can absolutely look at everything. So we don't have a limit of how old the transcripts are. We are happy to evaluate whatever we can to see if anything's transferable.
Great, thank you. Our next question comes from Brandy, and she would like to know, are there career services available after you are finished with any of the programs?
We don't have a career services office. We talk a lot about, opportunities even during the admission stage, when we're talking about what your specific goals are and what you're looking to pursue. That's why I do encourage you to kind of reach out to our alumni to see what they're doing. And, we also always encourage our students at any stage to, get out and network within your community and see what opportunities are going to be available to you, again, depending on what your goals are and, what program you're looking to pursue.
Yeah, and to add on to that too, we do have an alumni coaching program that has really wonderful resources for social media, and we also have an alumni practitioner directory where we list any alumni who have active practices or consulting businesses. So we do have a lot of services for our alumni, and we're actually actively working on beefing those up even more, so you would definitely want to stay tuned to that if you did enroll. So there's another question. What do you base the merit scholarship on if you are an adult returning to school for a new career path?
I can take that one, Amy. So the application requires students to submit a personal statement that talks about their goals and interests. It also requires 2 letters of recommendation and submission of prior transcripts, academic transcripts, either from high school or previous institutions attended. And the scholarship committee really takes a look at all of those items and weighs them fairly equally in determining recipients. You can find out more about the application process on our website. If you go to ACHS.edu and type in scholarship in the search box, it'll pull up a page with information about the scholarship, our rolling deadlines, a link to the application, and so forth.
Thanks, Katie. And Sherry would like to know, is it possible, Amy, if you guys could repeat the programs that are eligible for financial aid?
Yeah.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. It's the Diploma in Aromatherapy, the Diploma in Holistic Health Practice, the Associate's Degree in Complementary Alternative Medicine, and the Master's Degree in Complementary Alternative Medicine.
Great, thank you. And another question on financial aid. What financial aid is available for foreign students for online education?
Well, one of the requirements for being eligible for federal financial aid is that you do have to be a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen. To get a full list of which non-citizens might be eligible, I recommend that you go to FAFSA.ed.gov. Because that'll give you the full list, or reach out to us here at the college and we'd be happy to walk you through that. So in order to qualify for the federal financial aid, you have to qualify as either a citizen or an eligible non-citizen. As far as other funding sources, I'd encourage you to do scholarship searches or grant searches, either on the resources we listed in the webinar or just by doing your own Google searches.
Awesome, thank you. Another financial aid question. Does it matter whether we apply for the FAFSA after being accepted into the program or before?
No, it doesn't matter. We definitely recommend that you complete it as soon as possible after your taxes have been filed, because that gives us as much time as possible to collect any additional documentation that might be required to finish processing it. But you can certainly do that before you've been accepted to the program, or you can wait until after you've received acceptance. Either way is fine.
One thing I do want to say on that, though, is as an accepted student, one of the first steps is going to be to talk to the financial aid department about that process. And until you've completed your FAFSA, we'll have to delay the appointment that we schedule for you. So you want to think about that, because once you submit your FAFSA, I think it takes about 3 to 4 days for it to process before we have access to that.
Thanks, ladies. Okay, so let's see. We've got a couple questions coming in here. One person is wondering, can the application fee be waived?
We don't have an application fee. We have the registration fee at the time of registration, but prior to that we do not have any other application fees at this time.
Great, thanks, Amy. Linda wants to know if there will be a transcript or replay, and yes, we will be sending out the video of this webinar and the PowerPoint slides for you guys to review in your own time, and you can look at them again and again. So I don't see any other questions on there, and we're just about out of time, so I want to go ahead and say thank you so much, Amy and Katie. This was an excellent webinar and really important information for anyone thinking about going back to school for holistic health, so thank you. And great questions, everybody. These were excellent, and if you do have any follow-up questions, you can absolutely follow up with our presenters at admissions@achs.edu. And thank you for attending our Lunch and Learn webinar, and you can keep an eye out again for an email which will go out with the recording of today's webinar along with the slides. And if you're interested in joining us for our summer accelerated semester starting this July, be sure to get in touch with Amy so you can register before the June 17th deadline. And our summer accelerated semester, it's a mouthful, has expanded, so you can actually choose from 2 excellent undergraduate courses and 3 graduate level courses this summer. So we are offering Aroma 101, Herb 101 in the undergraduate level, and for the graduate level we're offering Research 501, Newt 509, and Herb 502. So those are some wonderful classes to kind of get in there and get started. So go ahead and make something great of your summer with an online course in holistic health. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, ladies, and have a wonderful day.